Thank you so much for joining us this evening for our Act on Climate webinar. We are really excited to tell you about all the resources that we have here at Climate Generation. I'm Megan Van Lowe, and I'm the Programs Coordinator.
And I'm Lauren Burinsky. I am the Communications Coordinator. So again, we're really happy that you joined us. Tonight, we're going to go through a couple of toolkits that we have created in-house here, and we are also going to go through our website, which is essentially a living hub of resources for all of you. We have archived programs that are all free and downloadable that can essentially be like a virtual education resource for you. Tonight, we're going to go through content that's for all audiences, so if we're presenting on something that's for a teacher, just hold on for a couple of seconds because there's probably something afterwards that you will be interested in. Like Megan said, if you have questions or any problems hearing us, just go ahead and type it in the chat box, which you can find on the left side of your screen on the top. We're keeping it really informal, and feel free to use the raise hand button when we ask for interaction and participate in some of the polls we have coming up. So again, if you can't hear us or you're having any other types of problems, maybe the picture's fuzzy, things like that, just trying to exiting out the webinar and then accessing it again from that link that you got in your email. Or you can call in by the phone as well.
Great. So we'll get started here. I'm going to share my screen with you all. We have a little PowerPoint to go along with this. So, Climate Generation, a Will Steger legacy. We are founded by Will Steger, who is a polar explorer and an eyewitness to climate change. And our mission at Climate Generation is to empower individuals and their communities to engage in solutions to climate change. We work with different types of audiences. We work with youth, the public, and educators. We really see the power of youth to make change for their future. We see educators as the critical messengers in bringing the facts of climate change to their students and making it relevant to their lives. And we see the public as important messengers to their family and friends, and working with their communities to take action. So as we go through the webinar tonight, we invite you to think about maybe if you identify as one of these audiences or populations, but also maybe you work with a different one. So, we invite you to think about all these resources and the different aspects of your life. And we work with these different audiences because we see climate change as what we say is kind of the perfect problem. It doesn't just affect one group. It doesn't just affect one part of our ecosystem. It affects everything. It's really interdisciplinary. So the issue affects everything, therefore the solutions we see lie in a lot of different aspects of our lives. So yeah, we'll just keep that in mind as we get going on these resources.
So we wanted to take a quick poll from everybody who's on, and we were just hoping to ask what you hope to get out of these resources. And where you hope to use them. So go ahead and answer the poll that hopefully is popping up on your screen. And what setting do you hope to use these resources, whether that's personal, professional, in your school, or in your community? Awesome.
Ooh, the votes are coming in. This is so fun. We're almost there. Oh yeah, 4 or 5. You guys are tech savvy. This is great. Okay. Awesome. So I'm going to end the poll, and hopefully you guys can see the results here. Obviously there was more choices than one, but looks like personal came out ahead. There's a few people, professional, community, and school.
Yeah, so good mix.
Yeah,
awesome.
Good mix.
So as you can see, there's going to be a lot of different types of resources, but the easiest way to get to all of the resources that we're going to talk to you about tonight is on our website. So this is a screenshot, and you can see that we have a What Can You Do drop-down menu on our website. So if you hover over that and then click on the Resources tab, you'll be able to find all of the resources that we're talking about tonight. So we're going to go over our newest resource first, and it is called the Co-Mentorship Toolkit. Megan, you can take it away.
Yeah. So the Co-Mentorship Toolkit can be found on our website, just where that screenshot was actually, the What Can You Do resources, and then you can find the toolkit there and download it for free in a PDF form. And this toolkit can be used by anybody. It could be personal, professional, school, at your organization, at your work. It was originally created for this co-mentorship program that we had for pairing veteran environmental staff with more young youth workers in the environmental movement in the Midwest. But it works with any issue, and it can be professional, as in like the whole mentorship program itself, or you can bring out the activities and use them individually. But what makes this unique and different than other mentorship programs is that both participants are actually valued as the teacher and the learner. So it's not as if somebody is the mentor dumping all the information into somebody else's head. It's equal and valued partnership. And the reason why this is important is that we see it creating these authentic relationships that we need, that will help us engage more in climate change solutions. So yeah, we're gonna show you a few activities.
So the first activity that we wanted to pull out from this toolkit, it's called Muscles and Mindsets, and this is one that we found to be really useful and also got feedback that it's just a great way to address your projects that you're working on. So this is a screenshot of what you would actually find in a page in the workbook or the toolkit. And this activity encourages the both of the people in the mentorship pair to be sounding boards for each other while you identify either constructive or deconstructive mindsets that are behind goals, projects, things that you're working on. So the mentorship pairs work together to pinpoint like a project or a skill that you've talked about in a previous meeting. And then you're going to take a look at one of these transformative mindsets and see, does it apply, or how can I incorporate it into this project? So maybe you want to move from a scarcity mindset, like it's too difficult and there's not enough time, to one of abundance, like actually there are opportunities everywhere to address climate change or other challenges, things like that. So the main point of this activity is to reflect on how these mindsets both appear in your work and also can apply in your work that you will do together in your mentorship relationship and in the projects that you hope to complete.
Yeah. Another activity that you can find in the co-mentorship toolkit is the active listening activity. And we've actually done this as staff at Climate Generation and found it to be a really empowering activity to do, because you really have to listen to each other. And so you actually start out with a question, and the one that's in the toolkit is, what's holding you back? And this question can be used for this activity, or you could think of a different question. So actually, we're going to ask you participants, if you want to put it in the chat box on your screen, but if you could answer the question maybe in just a quick sentence or one word of what's holding you back from engaging in climate change solutions. Ooh, somebody's answering, yay.
All right, one is feeling like I don't have enough time.
Yeah, definitely. We feel that sometimes, even working in a nonprofit that focuses on it. I mean, obviously time is a huge constraint.
Totally.
Maybe it would be that you don't have enough resources, and that's why you're on the webinar.
Maybe so.
Great. Well, thanks for sharing. I'm going to share the screen again here. So with this activity, you would ask your partner that question, and they would have a minute to answer the question, and then you would stop, and then you would have actually another minute to revamp your answer and share it again more concisely. And then the partner who was listening has to share back to you your answer. After that, you'll rate them from 1 to 5 of how well they listened, and then they'll have a chance to fix any of the errors. So again, this is a really empowering activity to do with any type of question, just to cultivate that more authentic relationship with someone.
Yeah, so again, this was our newest resource that we've published and made available for people. It's free and downloadable on our website, so definitely take advantage if you feel like it fits. The next couple of resources we're going to go through stem from our YAMIN program, which is our Youth Environmental Activists of Minnesota program. So this is a core part of Climate Generation, and it's a program that empowers high school students to take coordinated action for a sustainable future. So we have a core group of youth who participate in leadership opportunities. They go out in the community, do field trips to different places, and they all year round focus on climate literacy, political education, and organizing skills to help the projects that they want to do be a success. So anyone who wants to use these resources I'm about to talk about can be anyone. It doesn't necessarily have to be you're a high school or a college student. These types of projects or resources can happen in your business or your church or your community, and they're kind of a cross sector web resource. So you can find these on our website. So we're going to hop over there and kind of show you live action how you can find them. If you go to the What We Do drop down and then click on YAMIN, so our YAMIN program, you'll find the first couple of resources. So all of these are centered around the idea that it takes small actions to make a big impact. And with just smaller projects, you really can make a difference wherever you hope to. So once you get to our YAMIN page, you can click on the button, the circle that says YAMIN Students Take Action. So this actually displays all of the past projects that YAMIN students have worked on throughout the school year. So we've partnered with schools all throughout the Minnesota metro area, and you can see action projects like from Bike to School Day or Week to students turning their fryer in the lunchroom into a biodiesel machine, or even if it's just, I want to reduce trash waste. You can read all about these projects that these kids have completed, and just hear firsthand how they did it, maybe get inspiration, and just use it as a jumping off point for a project that you're interested in starting. So that kind of leads into the next resource, which is our Take Action template. So if you go to the What Can You Do drop down and click the Resources tab, to our Healthy Hub of Resources, you can find the Take Action template here. So if you just scroll down, I think it's that fourth one on the page, and you'll say, click here to download. So it'll link you straight to the PDF, and you can print it out. It's all free. And this is kind of a brainstorming process for you if you're having an idea of, oh, well, maybe I want to have my work office compost more. How do I really get that to happen? So this Take Action guide is going to actually walk you through the brainstorming process of like, what am I passionate about? What do I think I could maybe accomplish? And then take you through making SMART goals, creating a timeline for your project, and then helping it come to completion. So that's a really amazing resource. We definitely encourage you to download and just read through it and see if even if there's parts you want to take out to help make your project a reality. So if you have done a couple of projects before and you're thinking, oh, well, it was a success, but I want it to be on a bigger scale, we also have right below that on the resources page our toolkit for trainers. So even though this was centered around our YAMIN program, you can actually take this into account if you're just trying to have more of a leadership focus on a project. So maybe you need more people involved, or you're trying to fully campaign or plan your campaign. This printable guide also has easy to follow outlines and different things that can support you in your leadership development and recruitment strategies. So you don't have to be an expert. You can read through these, and even if you're downloading them and trying to start working through them, if something is confusing or maybe you need some advice on how to implement stuff, feel free to reach out. We're always here to help with those types of projects. So then also for our YAMIN program, we wanted to do a little shout out for an event coming up this Saturday. So if you are a young environmental activists, or you have some of those people in your life, please share this event. It's going to be a really awesome kickoff. It's called the Climate Youth Kickoff this Saturday, and it's from 12 to 5 p.m. So all high school students can attend. It's free, and we planned a bunch of workshops, success stories, and also there's going to be a free lunch so that students can figure out how to start their year in action and bring climate change solutions to their community. So you can RSVP for that event on our website at yamin.org.
Great. All right, well, I'm going to switch gears a bit and talk about the curricula resources that we have to offer. So you can find these on our website back on the What Can You Do, scroll down to resources, and then it's going to be there amongst all of the rest of them. So these can be used for teachers in the classroom. You can also be a non-formal educator. You can work at a nature center or a museum. Or if you're just interested in grabbing some lessons or activities to do with maybe a Boy Scout or a Girl Scout troop, your church or some friends or any type of audience, there's a bunch of different activities in here to address climate change. So we have one that is based on just Minnesota and the biomes, which is really fun. It has some journaling and observation. Actually, Will Steger's journals are in there from when he was a young boy in Minnesota. We have one that's focused more on policy and citizen engagement. Yeah. And we have one that's on experience energy. And yeah, they're all free to download on our website. It looks like we have a question from somebody, so we're going to answer that.
Yeah, sorry for missing that if we're a little late. So someone asked, where is the workshop on September 30th? It is at Breck Upper School in Golden Valley. Yeah. So if you do go to yamin.org, you can find the location and the address of that school on the event page, and it'll be right there for you.
Yeah, good question. Mm-hmm. Hopefully you get some kids to turn out.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we have just a bunch of curriculum free to download off our website. If you're interested in purchasing the actual spiral bound laminated ones, you can also do that. It's kind of fun to have the graphs and the cards there to have for when you want to do the lessons. So there's lots of online resources also connected to the curriculum itself, so you can engage both the activities and online. And each curriculum ends with a take action guide, similar to the one that Lauren just showed you, but we really want to put the basis down for the learning and then inspire people to take action. So if you also want to get a little bit more hands-on, we have a training that we call the Summer Institute for Climate Change Education. And this is a professional development conference where we bring teachers from all across the country to come and learn about our curriculum, get training on our resources, network, hear from speakers, hear from experts in the field. It's a really fun time for people to come together and get some hands-on learning. So we've done it for the past 10 years, and if you go to our website, actually, there's all the archived summer institutes that we're going to show you. So the way to find that is go to What We Do, Professional Development. And if you click on Summer Institute for Climate Change Education, it should bring you to a webpage that has all of the ones that we have done in the past there. So maybe you're a teacher in a classroom and you want to feature a scientist who, maybe you can't bring them in, but you want to show their, keynote address from the 2015 Institute. Go ahead and click on that year, see who spoke. We might even have the visual of it, who knows. Majority of them, we do have the audio, which is really nice to have. And we also have like PowerPoints from various speakers, like Kathy Techman, who's a really great partner of ours at University of Wisconsin. She has presented on her curriculum a lot in the past. So go ahead and click on the PowerPoint. It's in a PDF right there. You can show your students or show your friends or even learn yourself. I honestly find these virtual agendas of our institutes is just really good knowledge. You're like, oh, I want to learn more about this issue. So this is a great starting point if you want to learn more. And then, yeah, we have, like I said, the audio. So the keynote that year was Frank Neaphold, who's the Climate Change Education Director at NOAA. So we're going to click on it to show you.
This recording was produced by Climate Generation. You can get this. I didn't know if I was going to get this.
So it's on SoundCloud there, and kind of like a podcast. You could maybe assign it to somebody to listen to or listen to it yourself. But it's kind of fun just to poke around and see who was there and get to know a little bit more. So check that out. And then also save the date. If you are a teacher or you know people who are teachers, we have the Summer Institute this year, June 26th through 28th. We're good. At St. John's University in Collegeville, Minnesota. So save the date.
Totally. Yeah, so the next resource that we're going to talk about is COP23. So this resource for resources for everybody who is interested in kind of the international stage of climate change action. Every year, leaders from across the globe come together at the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. So it's a time when these countries can continue their work on strengthening the global response to the threat of climate change. And this year is the 23rd meeting, or the 23rd Conference of Parties. So we shorten that to COP23. So this resource is all virtual, and you can actually sign up for updates when we are sending our multi-sector delegation there this November. So this November, it is in Bonn, Germany, from the 6th through the 17th. And we're sending 8 Minnesota leaders there to represent our state as one of the states in the U.S. Climate Alliance, and also just to kind of bring back to our state what is going on at these international negotiations. So our 8-member delegation features representation from education, law, philanthropy, youth. We have a high school and a college age student going, and then elected officials and also indigenous communities. So we definitely encourage you to sign up to receive updates. So you can do that just by going to our website and clicking on the little search tool and searching COP23 or window into COP23, and the link will come up for you to sign up for those updates. And you can also follow along on social media. So we are using the hashtag MNCOP23 to keep all of their blog posts, webinars, and just news from that whole experience in the same place on Twitter. So Climate Generation also has a history of sending delegations to COPs. So COP21 was where the Paris Agreement was confirmed and signed back in 2015. And we actually sent 10 teachers there as education ambassadors who provided an inside look on what was going on. They kind of went back to their class and did a bunch of webinars, so you can actually experience that whole virtual experience on our website. So if you go to Who We Are and Our Legacy, you'll find our Window into COP21 or Window into Paris program. So if you click on that, you're going to discover that there's all of those archived webcasts. The blogs from our 10 education ambassadors are there. You can also check out their bios, who they were. I'm sure if you reached out, they would love to talk about the experience and what they were able to bring back to the community. And just some more resources about the whole COP experience are also there. It's definitely something that I think we hope to do for our future COP programs. So even if you don't follow along while it's happening, all of those resources are there for you to learn and experience afterward. So we'd like to do another poll just to kind of break up the talking. So we thought we'd ask you if any of these resources that we have presented so far have inspired you to learn something new. So we'd like to ask, have any of you learned some new information this evening? Anything at all?
Oh, yay, I'm getting the answers that I had hoped for.
Yes.
It's okay if you're bored, I understand.
Yeah.
I like this. Awesome.
Glad that there's a win. Awesome.
Great. So you'll see that. Yay! Thanks for the info. Nobody's bored
Glad
yet.
no one's bored. And if you are, thanks for sticking with us.
Awesome. Well, we just have a few more resources that we would like to touch on. So, we'll get back to this. What I want to talk about is our Climate Minnesota project. So Climate Minnesota was a 2-year project that we did back in 2015, 2014, where we actually traveled around the state of Minnesota to 12 different communities, and we engaged them in a climate convening model that we have created. And really the point of it was to basically have the community members develop an understanding of how climate change is impacting their community. And we did that through having a science expert, having storytellers from their community tell their climate story, and then we had solutions workshops. So local things that were happening already on the ground in that community, and they were able to connect with them. So we find this is a really good model. And all these meetings that we did over the 2 years, we want to share with you. So the easiest way to get to that is you can go to climateminnesota.org, which will just be a shortcut back to our website, and it will get you to the Climate Minnesota pages. But if you're interested in kind of like the Summer Institute, a more virtual agenda of, if you want to hear a keynote speaker maybe that was there, maybe you actually live in one of these communities, like Bemidji, and you want to see who was at the resource fair. I really want to engage in, local solutions in my community, and I don't know where to start. So we have a full list of all the resource fair participants. Maybe you are motivated to write your own climate story and you need some inspiration. So we have recordings of the storytellers that were there at most of the convenings. You can see they're kind of like before it's on SoundCloud, so you can listen to it as a podcast. Some of them, we do have the visuals, like here, the Bemidji convening, we actually have a video of the entire convening itself. So if you're interested in just seeing how they're run, how it looks, you want to do one on your own and you need some inspiration, just like the Summer Institutes, it's just great knowledge. Good place to start. And then from having, this 2-year project, we did all this stuff, we're like, hey, maybe we should create this toolkit so this can be replicated in other places. So that's the next resource that I want to talk about is our Climate Convenings Toolkit. And that can be found also in the same place. What can you do? Resources, and it'll be listed there. But we really saw that there was a pressing need for a new model of engaging people in climate change solutions. And it includes a local approach, which builds understanding, really inspiring the emotional relevance and the emotional connection to the issue, so then you feel like you want to do something about it because it is such a big issue. And then that also creates a socially cohesive community when you become a little bit more personal and sharing stories of your lives together, and that makes you more resilient. So this toolkit, feel free to download it and look through it, and if you're like, hey, I want to do this convening, but it seems a little bit overwhelming, we're here to help for sure, and I would bet that there would be somebody in your community who would love to take it on with you. This really is a big task, and it might feel overwhelming, and you just don't even want to think about it, but we really do encourage you to think, who are the champions in my community who might want to get in on this? You could also just even do smaller parts of it, like before. You don't have to host a whole entire convening. It could just be different portions of it. So go ahead and take a look at that. We find it's really helpful. And then another part of the Climate Minnesota project was our storytelling collection. So we are still actually collecting stories for our storytelling collection, and we would love for you to share your story with us. But we see the reasoning behind stories really inspired by Will Steger himself. He has, gone around the state of Minnesota and the country, and inspired thousands of people through his chronicles of his Arctic adventures and his eyewitness account of climate change. And so what we really realize now is that we are all eyewitnesses to climate change. It's happening in our own backyards, and we need to share about it, and we need to connect with people on a personal level. So we have a whole storytelling collection on our website. You can go check that out at climatestories.org. It's the fast way to get there. And go ahead and read some of the blogs, listen to some of the audio, and if you feel inspired, we would love to hear from you. So go ahead and send us your climate story, or give us a call and say, hey, I want to get in on this. How do I do it? And we can definitely coach you too. So yeah, that's a great way to get involved.
Yeah. So we recognize that climate change and addressing climate change can feel really overwhelming, and sometimes it feels like you're doing it alone. But we want to assure you that no matter what you want to do, how you want to tackle it, you're not alone, because you have orgs like us that can really help you take your project or your thoughts or whatever and hit the ground running. So we're in this together, and it's not what can I do, but what can we do together to make the biggest impact. So if the solutions in this webinar maybe feel too big, or you're not ready to tackle them, or they just don't fit your lifestyle, don't fret, because we actually have some other resources available for you. So if you go to the What Can You Do drop-down menu again and click Take Action, so right above resources, you're going to find a lot of outside resources that we've collected that help with taking the first small steps to acting on climate change. So whether that's how do I compost in my house, or what is my carbon footprint, I want to calculate it, or how do I write my legislator. Resources of that nature can be found on the Take Action webpage. You can also schedule a visit from us. So that can be found on our website as well in the Contact Us dropdown. So all of Climate Generation staff are available to give presentations. We lead education workshops. We could even facilitate a storytelling event or workshop in your community, and more. We always tailor our events to the specific audience and the needs that you have for whatever type of event you're thinking. And we encourage you to reach out with requests. You can also engage with us on social media. You'll see that we are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and those are our handles, and we share resources like all of the ones we've been going through, climate news, things that are happening with our Min program, local events, all of those types of fun things, so you can always keep updated there. Yeah, so we would like to ask another quick poll just to end the night. We are wondering, out of all of the resources that we've asked, or that we've presented on, which maybe are most exciting for you to want to tackle or try, or do you think you could see yourself using in your life?
Yeah, and so they're listed up there, and they're also in the poll, but the co-mentorship toolkit that we started with, the Take Action toolkit for trainers, any of our curriculum or our summer institute, the conference of the parties, our climate min convenings, and then if you wanted to actually schedule a visit or anything. The answers are coming in. We'll give it a few more seconds. Maybe you just want to do them all.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Great. So here are the results. Looks like, oh, awesome. So the Take Action template. Yeah.
Really useful.
Yeah, that is really a good place to start, we see. And we have curriculum, COPs. Yeah, so follow us at COP23 for sure.
Definitely.
That's coming up in November. Yeah. Climate min and storytelling. Yeah.
Awesome.
Send us your stories.
Yeah. Awesome.
Great. Well, if there's any further questions, feel free to email Lauren and I. Our emails are up there, lauren@climategen.org or megan@climategen.org. But we want to thank you all for joining our resources webinar tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
So have a good one.